Hello and welcome to part 20 of my Let's Play of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. In our last map, we basically successfully took the Ravens out of the picture, and we continue our march to the capital of Dayan, though we are a little bit delayed thanks to some sort of an enemy tactic. And we have to go and stop the floodgates, potentially save the surrounding areas, and allow us to move our troops, our army, faster than faster, basically. This is a kind of an. It's not a bad map, but it can be a bit challenging if you haven't really been concentrating on leveling a wide variety of non-squishy characters. There is a lot of distance attacks in this map, a lot of wyverns, a lot of magic, that and a lot of mounted units as well, that it can be quite difficult to make sure to protect everyone that is squishy. So it can be a little bit of a challenge there. The only little catch in this map, it comes with Jill. This map, actually, the boss of this map is her father. So you don't want them to come into contact. If you do, she will switch sides back to the enemy and you'll be forced to kill her. You can still have her in the map, and I would highly recommend it if she's at an appropriate level. She'll come in handy quite a bit, but just make sure that she doesn't go anywhere near the boss. So, basic rule that I have on this map is to split your group up into two separate groups. One to kind of handle the top, kind of this top left portion of the map, and with it most of the wyverns, and then the second group to basically go after the boss and deal with all that. As far as classes go, we'll see. You know, you do want to make sure that you have plenty of ranged weapons, individuals. You know, it can be whoever you choose to be, as far as that goes. I do have Sean here just so I could have an archer in the group. But if I was playing this on a harder difficulty settings, admittingly, I would probably choose someone else than him, and we'll get more into that as the turns go on. I also believe that in this map, the normal units, these like a lot of these normal units, they get a jump in level and stuff as well. It's not a significant jump. That is actually saved well, that'll come fairly shortly, but you're going to start noticing pretty quickly that your weapons are going to be doing a little bit less damage than normal, and the Trinity, the sword, axe, and whatever will come into a bigger play here than what we've seen in the previous maps. So that's just something to take into account. And also, I don't believe I mentioned it on the other map, other two maps, but one of your main goals that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to level up Ike. You don't have to be super fast about it, but you do want to get him to 20 as fast as you can. You're going to have some benefits to that. It's not going to be end of the day, it's not something that you have to rush to, but it is something that you're going to want to keep in the back of your mind, and don't forget to level him up. Also, I think I showed it in one of my pre-maps, or my intro maps, but just to make sure, you definitely want to give Ike that, oh, I forget what the name of it is, the, that skill, special skill, that you showed, that if he has it on, you go back, it would have been after he evolved, but you definitely want to give him that. That will give him a special ability. For those that have played the Smash Brothers on the Wii, that special move that Ike does, that he throws the sword up and whatnot, that's kind of sort of where this is taken from. So you definitely want to give him that move. It'll heal him along with doing some special attacks, so you want to make sure to do that. If at this point in time you actually gave that to someone else, don't fret over it too much. You're going to get more of those the skills, a few more of them at least, that you can give to Ike. So don't fret or whatever, but you definitely want to do that. And again, if you don't want to, it's not a game killer, but you're going to come to a map, we're a ways out, but it'll come to play later on. But it's just he's just a recommended character to give it. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's, I think it's like Nithro or something like that. But anyway, you want to make sure you do that. You're gonna get others, and who you give the others that which of the others of your characters, it's kind of up to you guys to kind of choose who you want to give it to. There's not really a whole lot of bad choices. I think I give the other one that I get in this playthrough to Maya for her deal, and then I think I gave the third one to Tanya, though I think that was kind of a waste in this game. It's a lot. Her special move isn't as great as it is in Radiant Dawn, but really, there really isn't a whole lot. I know Boyd, actually, it comes really big time helpful with him. and so Nephany and stuff like that. So there's plenty of other characters that you can give it to. I would avoid giving it to your magic users. It's really not that special to Soren or Arrays. It's just not all that helpful to them. But you know, if you want to experiment on that, go for it. There really isn't a bad choice to give them to. You just want to remember who you gave them to, but there really isn't too much of a bad choice. And I believe this is the map that we get to address a couple of those issues and stuff that I mentioned in the previous, in a couple of maps earlier. First, as you can see, Jill is just, she can just slaughter that whole group herself if you really wanted just to send her up. But we kind of want to share the XP just a little bit. But as you can see, sort of, when it comes to the weakness of the archers and whatnot, it's just not that big of a advantage over, say, Boyd's axe. Yes, archers, you have a bigger chance of getting a critical attack, but at the end of the day, it's still going to take 2 turns to basically take them down. And yes, I know that he's at a lower level and all that. But here's the thing, if you're going to put XP into him, you know, or Rolf or Astrid or whoever else you choose, it's just not that effective against the Wyverns. So so kind of take that with a bit of a grain of salt. I'm using him just to use him as, just to have an archer, just having a variety. But to me, in this game, Radiant Dawn changes things quite a bit. But to me, it's safer to have, you know, maybe level up Oscar or Kyrian or whatever, if you want another kind of user, and put like a short axe or something, or javelin, or make that their primary focus, because then that way you've got someone that's going to do just about as much damage as your archers do, and you don't have to worry about the weakness of not being able to attack back when you get hit. Now, Sean has a unique ability, which is kind of the reason why I use him instead of any of the others, and that is he comes with Provoke. And I know that sounds weird coming from an archer, and kind of being a little bit of a plus. But as an archer, he's already pretty much a target. for enemies, and that provoke just sends him a little bit higher. He actually has a pretty good amount of resistance, and fairly good when it comes to things like the ballistas and stuff like that in the map. So while he's not a tank, he's a pretty good safety net to have in case, in case you screw up and you have a wyvern that can be attacked, or you have your tank in line to a mage or something like that. He can't take a whole lot of damage, but with his speed and everything, he has a good chance of dodging and all that. Basically, I think a good approximation is, I think Shinon is more like your assassin build from the older Fire Emblem games. He's a lot more like those type of assassins, a lot more than Volk. So there's a little bit, and that's kind of how I'll be treating him a little bit, but with a small mixture of a tank and whatnot. So that's really the only reason why I have him in there. But if you're playing it on a harder difficulty settings, don't feel like you have to have an archer. It's not that important. If you do want to use it, there is nothing against it. I think all three of the archers actually are very good players. It's just they're not as efficient, I think, in this game. But again, to each his own. The second thing that we noticed was with Shinon, or not Shinon, Soren here, who was attacking the wyverns. As it was mentioned before about the whole weakness of the magic stuff, you noticed that the damage through the lightning was at about 18 points a hit, and the wind damage was about 22. Keep in mind also that I haven't leveled up the Thunder class school, whatever, with Shinon at all. So, sheesh, Soren, sorry, characters that sound alike. So you have a little bit of that to have to remember. If I had leveled him up to the same level as the wind magic, the lightning would do a whole lot more damage to the wyverns than what it actually did. Add in the fact that there is a high chance of always scoring double hits when it comes to the lightning and thunder magic, and you have a higher chance of landing criticals generally with your lighting magic than you do others. It is a fairly strong magic against the flying units. Don't get me wrong, wind is supposed to be the weak magic against all flying units in this game, but the thunder magic is just so overpowered that it ends up being the weaker, the better magic to use against them. So mileage may vary, but that's what I found throughout all my playthroughs of this. Again, of course, you can level things up differently or equip people differently or whatever, but really I find that the Trinity actually plays a very big role against wyverns as well, more than your typical units. And when it comes to flying versus flying, even to your Pegasus Knights, those are very effective against wyverns. Your units will always be stronger from a physical standpoint than the enemies. So it grants it within a certain level range. But just something to keep in mind. And as you can see, this is, I think, this is actually the first map that we will see of a very high increase in enemy reinforcements. It's not overbearingly, but there are a lot more that show up than we've seen in previous maps, and it'll increase. It will increase until the end of the game, pretty much. The number of units that will reinforcements from the enemy comes, which is sad, you know. That's why I liked that, you know, that forest map and whatnot, where you can, you know, you can, you have the different stages, and you can call in reinforcements of your own and all that. Sadly, that was the only map like that in the game, but still, it is what it is. The boss can be a little bit of an annoyance, but overall, he's not a complicated or a difficult boss to take down. That tomahawk is a little bit of a challenge just because so that he can attack from a range, but he's not going to come after you. He does heal, and he does have a pretty good critical, or a chance of actually hitting you for a critical, although it doesn't show that. Other than that, he's a pretty simple thing to do. And that's it for the boss. Basically, I'll be closing out the map with clearing out the rest of the mobs for some XP. And healing everyone up to get some more, a little bit more XP. And that will pretty much do it. As always, thanks for watching, and God bless.